Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Story time. First off, shout out to the 18% of you who watched the entire video, story time. My analytics show that after the first 30 seconds, people kind of like dip out. So, you 18%, you're the real ones. Also, I'm going to wait till 30 seconds have passed. All right, so the people who stay, because usually about 40% of the people drop after 30 seconds. Coming soon, I've invited other content creators to come on and tell stories from their life as it relates to Yu-Gi-Oh and like tangential things that happen like in life, and then how that kind of ties back into Yu-Gi-Oh. And my purpose of story time is just to show how how life and our hobby intersect in so many different ways. All right. And so the reason why this video is gonna be kind of funny, because just doing a little study of my analytics, you can see where the audience retention drops, and it's like certain thresholds, like 40 something percent drop after the first 30 seconds, and then after 2 minutes you get another 15% or so. And so I want the people who like are gonna watch the whole thing to be the only ones who get the whole story. Also, in regards to my Patreon, I'm going to be uploading videos with like background to some of the stories, like details that I would never share like on YouTube, but I feel that people who are like really interested in my work, what I'm trying to accomplish, stories that they would appreciate. All right, so 2 minutes have passed. So we've got a majority of the people who are never going to watch the video through the end. All right, so let's talk about this time I got arrested. So I think it was fall 2008, and yeah, nosy neighbors. So fall 2008. So at that time, you guys already know, I got 4 kids, and a couple of my kids were already in high school, and like money was tight. So I was doing everything. I was working 2 jobs. I was hustling. I was doing all kind of stuff, just to do what I can to try to be a proper father. I've said before that I feel that I failed in many aspects, but all in all, things worked out, and I'm very fortunate for that. So, on such a day when I was, making moves and hustling, I was coming home from like my second job. Yeah, it was late. It was late at night. I was coming home from my second job, and a police car had been following me for about a mile, and I was like, "The fuck!" So I'm driving. I pull into the Quick Trip. It's I don't know, for those of you who don't have Quick Trips, they're kind of like an upgraded Circle K, or they're like really clean and really nice, very well lit. Like even back then and before that, whenever the police are behind you, you always pull into a very well lit location. I pull in, and sure enough, they put the cherries on, pull in behind me, whoop, whoop, and they go, "Yeah, you made an unsafe lane change back on 17th Street." I'm like, "Okay, so you followed me a mile and a half, and not sure, whatever." So like license and registration. So, being intelligent, at that time, I was in my mid 30s. I knew well enough to keep my license registration in the sun visor and not in the glove box. So I pull this stuff, hand it over. So they take it back, they run it, and they ask me to step out the car. I'm like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I'm not thinking about what's in my car at this time, mind you. So as we get out, and they tell me to put my hands behind my back, I'm like, "What's going on?" Says, well, you have a bench warrant, from a county in Kansas. Apparently, like in one of my many regional trips, we drove different places. I had gotten pulled over for speeding, and I never got around to paying the parking fee. I mean, it was, come on, who hasn't done that? But anyway, I didn't pay the fine. I think the ticket was probably a year old. So yeah, of course I had a bench warrant. And so for whatever reason, they decided to search my car. So I'm cuffed up, and they make sure you're uncomfortable as possible. So I'm cuffed up. They got you. They usually when they want to fuck with you, they cuff you to make sure your wrists are touching. So I'm like uncomfortable, and then I'm sitting, so it makes it hard to stand back up when you're cuffed in such a way. So I'm sitting there, shaking my head. I'm like, I got work tomorrow. I got to pay rent in 2 weeks. What's going on? My girl, I'm about to get taken to jail. I can't contact my girl. What's going on? And then it hit me. Oh shit. I have an unregistered pistol in my car. I'm not going to tell you what it was. That's going to be saved for Patreon. I have an unregistered pistol in my car. I'm going to jail. I'm not just going to be taken out of county to do this, serve this warrant, or to appear for this warrant. They're going to put me in jail. So the cops, they searching my car. They pulling everything out. They pulled my CDs out. Don't judge me. They pulled. They're pulling everything out. And then they hit the thing and they popped my trunk. And first of all, they didn't have a right to pop my trunk, because they didn't have a reason to search my damn car in the first place. But sometimes it's just easier to shut up and comply, and then live to tell the story, than to act a fool. And I was just shaking my head. I was SMHing IRL. They popped the trunk. And I had forgotten that as part of my running around, I was buying up bulk from people, and I was going to resell the bulk when I was headed to the next regional that weekend. Of course, I wasn't going to make that regional because I was going to be in jail for this damn bench warrant. But I had, I don't know, maybe 30,000 cards or so. Maybe 50,000. I had like 50,000 cards, like bulk hollows, bulk commons. And the guy, the officer, he calls the other one up there because they're still like tearing up my car. They're like looking around and stuff. And he motions for him. And they got the boxes. And they go, sir, what's in these boxes? They pull one up. They pull the monster boxes, the cardboard boxes with the lid. And they pull one up, and there's just cards in there. And he said, what are these? And as an older officer, he comes around, he looks. He said, I think they're tarot cards. I'm like, tarot cards? I'm thinking, I don't have any Arcana. He probably saw the Arcana cards in there. That's what I'm thinking. No, everybody knows Yu-Gi-Oh. Of course no. And he goes, these tarot cards? I'm like, no, they're from a trading card game. He said, card game? I said, yeah, you familiar with like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon? And they kind of look at each other like puzzled. You can like literally see the question marks shooting out of their head. And like, no, what is this? Why do you have so many? I said, oh, I buy them up from like garage sales and like from people who like want to unload their low end stuff, and then I resell it, at a higher rate, just as an additional source of income. So, oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like a business. It's like, more like a side hustle. He said, okay. And they're looking through every box. I think I had like 14 boxes in my trunk. 10 to 14 boxes in my trunk. Those big monster boxes. And they're looking, and of course they're going to look through all of them. And they just had a stack. And mind you, this is fall. And, my hometown in the fall time is just wet. And they're putting my monster boxes on the ground. And they're getting wet. And it's like moist outside. I'm like, oh my God, my cards. And they got a stack. They got like 5 of them stacked. I said, you can't stack them that high. You're going to crush them. So, oh. So then they start stacking them 3 highs. At 3 highs, okay. Yeah, 3 high's fine, whatever. And they're looking, and they get through all of them, and they're looking, and they're taking them out, and they're like sorting through it and stuff. I'm like, they're gonna jack my car. They're just playing. They're messing with me. They're gonna. And they looked, and said, this is really interesting. And so they get everything together. They put everything back together. They put stack the stuff respectfully, neatly back in my trunk. Throw the stuff in my back seat, and they're like, do you have anybody you want us to call to take your car so we don't have to have it towed? And I'm like, yeah, just call my girl. And I give her the phone number. And then we wait for a couple minutes. My girl shows up, gives me a big slobbery kiss, and she sits there with the car. And she has her sister. She'll drive the car back, and then she drives my car back to the house. And so they go off and they take me. And my girl was like, I'll be down there to bail you out. I'm like, don't bother. I'm still gonna have the show. Just be more money. Say, no, baby, you don't deserve blah 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 blah. I say, yeah, okay. So as they're driving me downtown, the officer sitting in the passenger seat is like shaking his head, and he turns back to me, and he's like, so tell me more about this. Tell me more about those cards. Like, how long you been doing this? And I'm thinking to myself, they didn't find the gun. They were so obsessed with the goddamn cards. They didn't even find the gun. They didn't find the gun. Oh my God. They spent like 20 minutes looking through my fucking cards, and like just like a scant few minutes inside of the car, and they didn't find my gun. And so I'm like, oh yeah, and I started explaining it to him, and I was like, imagine, I said, baseball cards. Like, yeah, I collect baseball cards. I said, so imagine if the baseball cards, if you could like use the stats on the baseball card to have like simulated combat. So like based on the person on the card and their stats, that would determine how powerful they are. And then you would like take your strongest card, your card with the highest RBI versus the person you're playing against, their highest RBI, and then whoever had the highest RBI would win. And then you would just do that. So, oh, okay, I see. And so I'm just bullshitting here because I don't want them to think about it. I'm sitting there in the back of my mind like they didn't find a gun. What the fuck is going on? What's going on? And so we get downtown, and they're inking me up, and they're still talking to me. And the one officer, he should be filling out paperwork, but he's just sitting there. He's like so interested. He's like, okay, so the RBI, he's like, can you do that with any kind of cards? I'm like, no. This is just a trading card. There's other trading card games. You can, you just go to like a hobby shop a lot of times, comic book stores. They have this game. You can ask about it there. But no, I was just like giving an example to try to relate to your world. It's just okay, fascinating. So I might have to look into that. You do that, officer. You do that. So yeah, moral to the story: if you're riding around dirty, have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in your trunk. Boy. So yeah, that's my story. Thumbs up if you like the story. Leave a comment down below. Tell me about the craziest shit that ever happened to you when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. I'll be interested to read it. Still, AMAs are still incoming. Remember to leave the AMAs at ygodubk at gmail.com. Just recently had a small conversation with someone over a colicky baby, and man, I'm telling you, if you're a dad out there and your little baby, especially your little tiny infant baby, has colic, you just feel helpless. And my heart went out to a dude because it's like you can't do anything. There's nothing that they can give them. There's nothing you can say. The baby doesn't know what the hell's going on. So hopefully this person is watching the conversation we had, the tips I gave you that worked for me in the past. Hopefully those helped. All right. Love you guys. This has been a great journey. This journey has just been a great journey. This journey has been It's going great. It's been great. It's going to continue to go great. And I hope for more exciting things to come. Dubk, and I'm out.